Welcome back, friend, to Fig and Farm at Home. I am so glad you're here at the end of our summer saving series. If you are just joining us, we have spent all of June and all of July focusing on ways that we can save a little money. Because one of the things that I hear often is, I can't make my home pretty. I can't do the things I want to do in my home because I don't have the budget for it. I get that. We have all been there. Oh, trust me, we have been there. In fact, this is how Fig and Farm at Home got started. If you listen to the intro, you're going to hear my sweet little story about thrift shopping and ramen eating. And that really is truly how we lived for so many years. Why mother-in-law was so concerned that I was so skinny because we weren't eating when we were living in Iowa. There was just a time, there was a season. But I have a feeling that there are ways that we can be creative with our money. All of us can, right? It doesn't mean that we need to go plant the tree. It doesn't mean that we need to find a different job. I don't know, maybe that's your situation. But it does mean that we can be a little creative. And that's what we are all about here. Because I don't think we have to wait for the windfall to make our homes beautiful. I don't think we have to wait until our kids are grown and out of the house before we create homes that are beautiful. I think we can do it now. I think we can do it creatively. And that's what this series is all about. So if you're just tuning in, you may want to go back to episode number 257 and 258, where I talk about thrifting. How sometimes when you hear people or you see people and they seem to always find the good stuff, yeah, there's a reason why we find the good stuff. There are tips in there that tell you how you can find the good stuff too. It's not a matter of going to the perfect store. It's a matter of knowing what to look for and how to shop. So I invite you to go back and listen to those. And then in episode number 259 and 260, we talk all about Facebook Marketplace, tips for shopping that successfully. Because even though you might have a Pottery Barn budget and you're waiting for that windfall in order to buy the Pottery Barn things, girl, even if I bought the Pottery Barn things, I don't want to pay the Pottery Barn price. I want to pay half that price, or even 75% of that price. So you're going to hear from Alyssa in one of those episodes, and you're also going to hear how if you want to earn a little extra cash, you can sell on Facebook Marketplace. We talked to Elaine about that in episode number 260, a full-time Facebook Marketplace furniture reseller, and why she chooses furniture to resell rather than little pieces, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And then we just spent 2 weeks talking about DIY, hearing the boisterous Michelle Castro telling us how and why and what she is working on in her DIY world. And then Mr. Fig and Farm came in and talked to us all about our DIY experience and journey in our own home, how we have crafted a home that is character infused, personality infused, and absolutely us. It is absolutely us. Is it perfect? No. But I don't think any home, even the $1 million home, is perfect. I think there are compromises everywhere. Okay, so today, what are we talking about today? Today, I want to give you 10 tips for literally saving money in the everyday. Saving money when you buy groceries, saving money when you gas up, saving money when you're not entirely sure what you're spending it on. I want to talk to you about 10 ways to save money, practical tips that you can start with today. These are 10 tips we use, and I will point out where and how we use them when it's applicable. And you are going to want to stick around because you're going to hear how my grocery bill, when I'm feeding a family of 5, you might think it's a lot, and it is because groceries are more expensive, but you're going to want to stick around to hear really the reality of feeding a family of 5 when you are doing it on a budget, and how you can feed a family of 5 well, because Greg and I both love to cook, how it can be not so expensive. All right, friend, enjoy today's show. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted, and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style. where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. All right, friend, 10 tips that I use in order to navigate this crazy expensive world, to navigate 3 boys who play high-level soccer, to navigate a family who really is, okay, we're not food snobs, but we really, really like to eat, and we like to eat well, and we experiment with recipes and different things all the time. And so we're not just buying the box mac and cheese. Nothing wrong with a box mac and cheese. We just like to have a little fancier. We are a family who enjoys adventures and prioritizes fun, but there are ways that we've had to do it creatively. So let's just dive in to my top 10 tips that we use as our family of 5 in order to stay solvent at the end of each month and put a little aside for those rainy days, building that 3 to 6 month fund when emergencies arise, all the things that financial advisors tell you need to do, which, by the way, I am not. So if you're thinking, oh, is she doing finances? No, I'm not, but I am wanting you to be aware that there are creative ways that we can get ahead of the game. So friend, think of me today as your cheerleader, your number one cheerleader, so that you can afford to go out and buy that new pillow when you're wanting to. Okay, here we go. Number 1, cancel any monthly subscriptions that you don't use. How many of you have those Netflix or magazines or you name it? What kind of subscriptions do you have that you don't use? I can think of some for my business that I actually, like, I'm spending $15 on one I know a month. 15 times 12, what is that? That's, okay, I'm doing quick math. 150, 180. That's $180 a year that I could be saving if I just canceled that subscription. And part of me thinks, oh, maybe one day I'll use it. But you know what? I've had it for a year and a half and I'm not going to. So cancel those subscriptions. Go through with a fine-tooth comb. Don't be afraid to go in the weeds of that. Like the other day, I was looking at a magazine subscription that I have that, quite honestly, I don't use anymore. I don't look at really ever. And it was quite a process to cancel the subscription. It took more than 5 seconds, but it was worth it. It was going to save me $50 a year, or I don't know. I don't think that's right. $40 a year, something like that for this magazine. Cancel the subscriptions. All right, number 2. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, you know this one, buy with cash, do the cash envelope system. I don't do that, but I do buy with cash in order to keep those limits. And when you do have some of those habits in place, then you know, like, I only have $100 for this trip. It becomes a habit. But until that habit is established, sometimes having that envelope system is really helpful. And I didn't know this, and I do need to do a little more research in order to know how to do this, but you can set limits on your card, on a credit card. And I don't know how that works, but it works in the same way. If you don't carry cash around, if you don't want to carry cash around, it works in the same way. It is the limiting factor, just like an envelope would be, or just like that cash limit would be. Number 3, sign up for cashback apps or cards. Trade out some of those credit cards you might have that don't give you any rewards. Cancel them, pay them off, cancel them, all the things, but then sign up for those that do. My favorites are the Costco card. Oh my gosh. As many times as I go to Costco each year, I get a couple little cashback saving certificates that I then go back and put into my Costco bill. And feeding a family of 5, yep, we definitely use that. REI is a sporting goods store over here in the Northwest. It is online. I don't know how global it is, but it is a sporting goods store. And as you know, if you've been listening for a while, that we do all the things outdoors. We go backpacking and camping and all the things. So we do use equipment that is sporting good equipment, and there are returns on that. And we have definitely saved money in that way. Whatever that is applicable to you, see if there's a cash back card in that place that you shop often. Another one I can think of course, would be airline credit cards. If you fly a lot, I hope you are using one of those where you can get those rewards back so that you can then recoup a free ticket here and there. All right, number 4, kind of in the same light, but signing up for rewards or loyalty programs. The two that immediately come to mind for me are Target, and I'll explain in just a second, and Fred Meyer. Fred Meyer is a local grocery store here in the Northwest, but it's not just a grocery store. It's kind of like a Target. It has a bigger grocery store plus some of the other things like, jewelry, and I'm sure there's a name for those kinds of stores. What are they? It has clothing and it has some, sporting goods and some home decor. It's like a bigger Target, but with a bigger grocery store. Those loyalty programs, I know sometimes they can be a pain in the butt, and you are thinking, I'm punching in my code and I don't want to give my phone number or what have you. The Circle app on Target alone has saved me hundreds of dollars each year. How I use it, and if you're familiar with Target and you shop at Target all the time and you don't use this app, you definitely need to, because what happens is you're able to find all of the deals that are only available on the app. You're able to upload it into your electronic wallet, and then you're able to scan that wallet to save that money. They will also, which is kind of annoying if there's a long line behind you, but if you find, let's say you find this really cute top at Target, and you just do a quick search online on the Target store for it, and they see it's a different price online, they will price match it for you. Even they will price match other items as well. Hey, I found this somewhere else. Would you take this price? It can be a little, if you have got a line behind you, it can be a little, well, sometimes you just have to hold up the line. If you can save $5, it's worth it. And just say, I'm sorry to the person standing behind you. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, because there is the red card from Target, and you can apply for it. It acts like a debit card. And I know some of you think, I don't want another credit card. But when you sign up for it, you immediately save 5% on every sale, whether it was already on sale, part of that Circle app or not. You immediately save 5%. Using that as the standalone debit card for Target only, for me, it's worth it, because that is where I then choose to shop for all of my toiletry goods, things like that. And with that card, also, you get free shipping if you do choose to purchase anything purchase anything online and you want it shipped to your home instead of shipped to the store. In essence, you're saving money on gas. Fred Meyer, we have saved, even more, because we chose to purchase their loyalty program, which is like a $50 a year purchase. And at first we were doing it to just experiment, because Fred Meyer, even years and years and years ago, I remember I lived with my sister, and when she was raising her little ones, and that was so fun. Being around those two little boys when I was not married and single, and it was just so fun to be auntie on site with them. Anyway, I digress. But my sister would shop at Fred Meyer all the time, and I remember her coming home and saying, with this bags and bags of I got all of my boys' fall clothes and plus groceries. And she would say, oh my gosh, Danny, you need to look at this receipt. And she would show me. It was so good. And I remember thinking back then, wow, she saved more than she spent on all of these things, whatever it was. Fast forward to a move across the country to Iowa and back, and now here we are able to shop at Fred Meyer, and we were saving money, that's fine. But what happened, we decided to try out their one-time fee per year loyalty program. And of course, the idea was you would get a certain number of points for gas savings, as well as a certain number of points for, savings on groceries. Okay, here's how it works in our family. Every Thursday night, we place an online order to be picked up on Fridays. And by doing that, and being part of that Boost program, we see those coupons that are not necessarily open to the average shopper. And so, of course, there's savings there. What happens when we place the order on that day, because of that loyalty program, we then get whatever, I don't know the algorithm, but there's some sort of formula. There's some sort of formula that affords us extra points for gas savings. So we end up saving not only like $70, $80 per order for our groceries each week, we then save like $1 per gallon of gas on top of it. And then there are days each month that are like double boost days or whatever. So it is worth checking out where you shop and see if they have some sort of loyalty program, reward program, and to dive into that just a teeny tiny bit to see if there are additional savings, club savings, insider savings, whatever those are, in order for you to kind of get more, just make your money stretch just a little further. I'm going to go into our groceries a little bit later because I see these bills every week and I think, wow, we saved $85 on groceries. Oh, wow, we saved, $50 on groceries this week. And it was good, but I actually went through and I checked our last 4 months of grocery bills, and I'm going to share it with you because feeding a family of 5 should be really expensive, is really expensive. But when I looked at our bill, I was shocked and I kind of feel like I didn't do my math right. So you're going to want to stick around for that. All right. Number 5, stop paying for convenience. Yes, I know this one is really, it's hard. If you're used to hiring someone to mow your lawn, yeah, what's $10, you say? Or if you're used to hiring someone to go walk your dog for you, or I saw a sign in our local neighborhood actually that was a sign advertising to pick up your dog's pooey. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't like doing it when I had a dog, but that's a convenience that you could do yourself, right? You could save yourself. I don't know what they charge. But it's probably a pretty penny because that's disgusting and no one likes to do it. But sometimes when we eliminate those conveniences, we can find some significant extra cash. So some of the extra conveniences that you might be paying for, of course, you've heard me say this before, but how many times do we go through the coffee stand? And okay, I just camp on this for 1 second? I'm from the Northwest, not a stone's throw away from Seattle. I love myself some coffee. I do. I love myself some coffee, and I am not mad at all of the coffee stands around the area. However, I think it is really ridiculous that a coffee, even a cappuccino, this is not fancy coffee, even an Americano, which both of those are the things I drink, even those cost more than 1 gallon of milk. Here's what I think. I'm just going to rant for 1 second. What if we all said, you know what, we're not going to buy coffee, and we're going to choose one day we're not going to buy coffee, and maybe that could set things in motion that they need to change their prices. That's ridiculous when they can make, I don't know how many cappuccinos out of 1 gallon of milk. That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. What other conveniences are you paying for? A house cleaner? A babysitter? Now, of course, some of those are necessities, right? I mean, or not necessarily necessity, but just convenient. I don't want to clean my own house. Yeah, I would love it if someone else came in and cleaned my own house. But how much could you be saving if you said, you know what, I'm not going to do that for 3 months, and then, Sally, I'll invite you back 3 months later. Or the babysitter. Now, hear me out. I know that sometimes we mamas need the mental break. Yep, I have been there. Absolutely. I 100% want to encourage you to make sure that you're getting some time for yourself, or time for working on your business, or time to just go to work, whatever. But what if you changed your model of babysitting? And here's what I mean. I bet you know a mama in the neighborhood. You have a really good friend who wants to do some of the same things, who wants to have a chance to work on her side hustle, who wants to have a chance to go on a date night, who wants to have a chance to even go out for an overnight with her hubby. How much money are you spending on babysitting? And I'm not talking daycare. I am talking babysitting, those like 2-hour chunks here and there. If you trade with a mama who you trust, who you love, who you want to be around their kids too, if you trade with them, you just saved yourself so much money. This is what Mr. Fig and Farm and I would do from the very earliest. When we were living in Iowa, we had a friend literally down the street. Oh my gosh, I miss them. They had 2 boys the same ages as Owen and Henry, and we would swap once a week. One day a week, once a week. 1 week I would take his boys and we would hang out for a couple hours. He worked, so he would do his work stuff. And then the next week he would take my boys, and I don't know what I did. I didn't work at that time. I did have my baby boutique, so I might have done that. I might have gone to work out. I don't really know, but it was heavenly and it was lovely and it was wonderful to have a little time to myself. And they formed wonderful friendships. It was such a fun way to break up that monotony of early toddlerdom and preschool age. It was wonderful. As the kids got older, we set up a co-op even here. We have really, really great friends who have 2 girls, and we would set up date night co-ops. Now, we don't need it anymore because our boys are older and they can take care of themselves, but what would happen would be we would go on a date. Mr. Fig and Farm and I would go on a date, and the husband would come over and watch our boys. He was so playful, kind of like a funkle. He was so playful, hang out with the boys and make sure that they were all taken care of. I would do the same then for the girls, and it was such a fun way to get to know that family, like the girls especially, right? Because when you're hanging out with families, you sometimes don't get to know the kids as well as you would otherwise. So it was so fun to really bond with them and do girl things, because I am a house of boys. So we painted nails, we did hair. It was great fun. I miss those days. But then what about the overnights? Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, I would never hire a babysitter for an overnight. And yeah, if you have family to do that, to help take care of your kiddos, absolutely. But I do know some people who have hired someone for an overnight, their babysitter, their nanny. But if you have a trusted friend, someone who has been in your world for a really long time that you absolutely would do anything for, yeah, give them a trade. Who wouldn't want a night away with their hubby, right? We have some friends up in Seattle, and we do just that. We try to do it about once a year, where each of us take each other, and they have boys too. Each of us take each other's boys for one night, and it gives us a nice little reprieve. We're not doing anything fancy. We're not really leaving town. We're just getting a little bit of breathing room. We're getting recharged. We're enjoying each other's company without having to answer a million questions about soccer, which is my experience here. Okay, so stop paying for the convenience. Number 6. Everyone loves a coupon, right? Yes, use those coupons. Now, I don't know what comes in your mail. I don't know if you have a newspaper subscription, but I do know that stores have sales cycles, and those are just as good as coupons. So, of course, when coupons come in the mail, I pay attention. Fred Meyer, you heard me mention that grocery store. When you start shopping at a place over and over, they start sending you coupons. If there is a way to get on their list, get on it. Really, truly, you will thank yourself later, because those coupons then can help dictate what it is that you're going to be buying. But here's the thing. I've noticed that these coupons are now targeted to what we buy. So you remember me saying, we don't necessarily have like a boxed mac and cheese for dinner. I do occasionally buy it for the boys for lunches, because I do want them to help themselves and they do like it. But what I've noticed is that Fred Meyer will send us targeted coupons for the things that we naturally buy. So not necessarily for the processed goods, for the things like lemons, apples, tomatoes, all the fresh stuff that usually doesn't have a coupon attached, we get the coupons for, because it's targeted to our shopping preferences. And I love that. The other thing I want to mention are sale frequencies. I haven't noticed enough at Fred Meyer to know what their sale schedule is, or even at Target, but I have noticed definitely at places like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's, because I used to, when I owned my baby boutique years and years and years and years ago, I would have to go and buy all kinds of craft things. And I started noticing that each time I would go, there would be a sale on X products. A lot of products, actually. And then maybe I would have to go next week because I forgot something. And then I would notice, oh, these things are on sale. Go back the next week because I was selling a lot at the time on Etsy when it was brand new. Oh, now we're back again at at these first products from 2 weeks ago. And what I noticed specifically at Hobby Lobby was that if it's not on sale this week, it will be next week. Guarantee. Mark my words. Go do that and experiment for yourself. But it made me wonder about some of the other places that you see sales regularly, that you shop regularly. And I do know that there are there are sales schedules, but I would do a little research. If you shop somewhere all the time, check it out. See if there is that calendar, that schedule that repeats itself so that you can then optimize your savings. Number 7, try a no-spend day, a no-spend week, or a no-spend month even. Now, here's what I mean by that. You're probably already thinking, yeah, but I come on, Danny, I have to buy groceries. Yeah, you do. And you probably have to buy gas. But those are kind of the necessities for living, right? If you have to drive yourself to work, yeah, you're going to have to buy gas. If you're going to want to eat, yeah, you're going to have to buy groceries. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the extras. So that whim that you have to go stop at the thrift store, don't do it this week. That whim that says, oh, you know what, I want to go and I want to browse the downtown cute area, don't do it this week. You know what, I'm really, really, really wanting to get on Amazon and find that, don't do it this week. Having that little bit of discipline in those no spend days, weeks, or months, you would be amazed at what you save. And some of those little conveniences are things that we just kind of don't even think about. Like, oh yeah, it's after practice and yeah, I am going to run through McDonald's because it's easy for the kids. Yeah, instead, buy the pre-made lasagna from Costco, which by the way is delicious, and put it in your freezer and let that be your convenient meal rather than okay, can we camp on this for a second? Going to a fast food place should not cost me $50. It should not. And it definitely shouldn't cost me $60. If I'm going to Taco Time to give my kids a quick little meal, no, I don't want to spend $50 at a drive-through really bad fast food restaurant. I don't want to do that. That makes me grumpy beyond grumpy. So yeah, have those conveniences if you do need those. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the grocery part in a second. We do have those convenient food items in our home. Not the, the fries hanging out from Chick-fil-A. We don't have that, but we do have those convenient, like the lasagna I just mentioned, because there are days in our week that are just really too busy to make the homemade from scratch meal that we prefer to make, but it's too busy. So, those fast food places drive me bonkers. Okay. And here we get into tips number 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to clump them all in together because they do go synonymously with each other. So part of the convenience, of course, is, and these all go around grocery shopping. And these are how I save a lot of money on groceries. So the first thing that we do is we meal plan. And we do this every Thursday night because you heard me say earlier that we place that online order. So every Thursday we take requests from the boys, what they want to eat, because they do have their favorites. And then, new recipes that come out, we want to try and all the things. Now, you have probably, if you've been hanging out for a while, you have heard me say that we do a lot of at-home cooking anyway because we have a kiddo with severe food allergies. We do have places we can go out to eat, and we do that because we do enjoy, going and trying restaurants and things. But because we really enjoy eating well, and because we really enjoy saving money, we will cook from scratch 95% of the time. 95. So when we go out to eat, I don't even say it's once a month, once a week, maybe 2 times a month we go out to eat. So it keeps it as a real treat for our family. It's a real treat to go out to eat. Okay, but here's the thing. So Thursday nights we meal plan. So we know, and we meal plan in conjunction with our weekly schedule. Now you've heard me say we are a family of 3 competitive soccer players. Greg coaches, I coach during the school year. We're busy with a capital B, just like all of you. We are not any different. We just manage our time just a little differently. So we check to see who's driving who where, which days, and who has the time capacity in order to cook a meal and on which days. So we kind of plan out not only our meals, but we plan out the driving schedule and the cooking schedule all in alignment with each other, so that we aren't doing that, oh gosh, we need to give them something, let's run through McDonald's drive-through, so that we can avoid that. So once we decide which day, for example, let's say we have Monday is a free day. Monday is a cooking day. Sundays are usually cooking days. Saturdays are usually cooking days. So what we usually do, and you might just guffaw this because you don't like leftovers. We are fine with leftovers. We don't take them for lunches usually until they're at the end of their cycle. But we will have we will create big meals, is what we call them, on Saturday and Sunday, and maybe on Monday if we don't have anything going on. We will create big meal days those days so that we can have leftovers like a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, and a Thursday, for example. Of course, you can imagine with 3 teenage boys, the chances of us having leftovers are fewer and far between. So that's fine, but we accommodate for that. We plan for that. We make sure that either we double the recipe or we are making that time allowance in the week in order to prep the meal, right? But meal planning itself saves us time, because we're not doing that last minute, oh, I don't know what we're going to do for meals, but it saves us a lot of money. Because when we do that, we then put it into our online shopping order on Thursday night so that we can double or triple or boost our savings, however that little loyalty program works. And then we go and we pick it up. Now, this is tip number, well, they're all tied together. This is another tip. Don't go into the grocery store. Don't go into Target. Don't go into Walmart. Do the online shopping. When you are able to place your order online and then just go pick it up, we don't have it delivered to our home, so I don't know what those costs are. It works in our schedule to have Greg stop by on his way home after work on Friday to pick it up. But when we do that, it eliminates all of those last minute purchases, or I think we're out of this, or, oh, do we need this? And Thursday nights, I have to say, Thursday nights can be a little bit of a bore and a chore, because there are times when Greg is putting in the order and he'll say, oh, do we have brown sugar, for this recipe we need? And I'm doing some work, or I'm reading a book, or I'm doing something that is, I don't want to be inconvenienced by getting up and checking the cupboard in the pantry. But I help him out. And that right there helps us save so much, just helps us save so much money in the long run. Here's how it looks for us. Are you ready? I'm going to share my numbers for the last 4 months of shopping. And I'm going to break it down to 2 different stores, because we mostly shop at Fred Meyer, which is a Kroger brand. So I don't know if Kroger by itself is a store. And then we shop at Winco. And Winco we can't do online. We have to do in person. And I noticed something really interesting. So my tip for shopping online and then going to pick up, we are much more wise shoppers when we do that than we are at Winco, because we are spending way more money at Winco in the, oh, I need this to stock the pantry, oh, I need this, than we do when we are pre-planning, which happens with the meal planning. Okay, are you ready? Now, this doesn't account for, a random trip to Trader Joe's, or a random trip when we're out at a soccer tournament and we stop at another grocery store or something. It doesn't count for even our Costco runs, because our Costco runs I do once every 2 months, and I get the kitty litter and the paper towels and that kind of thing. So it doesn't really affect our weekly normal eating. Here they are. So in March, I went through March, April, May, and June and gathered up all the totals. May was expensive. It was a birthday month. It was Mother's Day. So you could see that the grocery, and we love, of course, I mentioned love to cook. So we cook kind of fancy things. That was an expensive month. We were having a birthday party with, teenage boys. So we definitely spent more. On average, over the last 4 months, in March, we spent $167 a week. In April was a little more expensive. It was a little over $200 a week. In May, it was right at $200, and in June, but we are not at the end, but we will be, at the time of this recording, we will be gone for a couple weeks. So our average was really low, like $140. On average, we are spending less than $200 a week on groceries, about $175 on groceries for a family of 5. And I know the cost of groceries. I know I am feeling that pain with you, but there are ways to do it. And it happens when you have some intentionality to your spending, thinking ahead, planning ahead, using any coupons, any loyalty programs, any advantage so that you can get that cash back, as well as not going into the store. Now, I talked to a friend, and we're going to wrap up here. I talked to a friend recently, and she has a family of 5 as well. She has 2 boys, a girl, and of course, her and her husband. Now, the girl has been away at college, so right now they're a family of 4, and we've been dear friends for a very long time. And she was saying, okay, I basically am working in order to feed my family. How much do you spend? And so I shared with her, we spend about this much each week. Her jaw dropped. She is spending almost double that to feed her family. And I don't know what your grocery bill is like. I don't know what other people's are like, but I do think $175 a week is pretty low when you're feeding them all the things and you're not eating top ramen. But she was wondering, how on earth are you doing this? I can't afford, I think she said $500 a week. That's crazy. $500 a week. And she was wanting to know how we were able to, save money and do all the things. And so I was sharing with her, and she came back the week later and she said, you know what? I just can't do that. I want to go in and touch things in the store. I can't do leftovers. I can't. And there are, if you can't, that's fine. If you won't, that's a different story. And, but there are creative ways that you can recoup those costs, save that money, and use it then for something else. So, it's all a matter of choice, right? It's a matter of choice. What do you want to spend your money on? And in this case, we prioritize family meals. We prioritize healthy eating. We prioritize treats here and there. We don't prioritize eating out. We want it to be a treat for our family. It's an expensive treat, but we want it to be a treat for our family so that we don't grow accustomed to it and expect it. And also, my waistline is very thankful for it. But it's a priority. It's a choice. And so there are ways to be creative. I hope that you enjoyed those top 10. I'm going to run down really quickly as a recap. Number 1, cancel subscriptions. Number 2, sign up for rewards or loyalty programs for places you shop often. Number 3, try those cash back apps or cards. Let me tell you about this really quick. We recently signed up for a cash back app through Capital One of our credit cards, and that soccer tournament stuff we were telling you about is expensive. Those 3 boys, these are expensive things. We have to buy kits every couple years, and this was a kit year. $400 per boy, you're doing the math, it's a lot of money. But when we were purchasing one of the kits, because we had to purchase them 3 different times, when we were purchasing them, because we had that cashback app loaded, it was like an extension on our web browser, and what it does is it behind the scenes when you're on a website, it looks for automatic savings. We were able to save $100 on a uniform kit. We were able to save $100 on just one of the uniform orders. That 100 using the cashback app. And it was just instant savings. It wasn't anything that we are going to get back in the mail, no rebates or anything like that. Anyway, those are worth looking into. Use trusted ones. We used our credit card Capital One. But another one I just ran into was PayPal. What is it called? PayPal Honey. So if you use PayPal, this could be an extension you may want to use in order to try more cashback savings. All right. Number 5, stop paying for convenience. Number 6, coupons and sale cycles. Know those. Number 7, try a no spend day, week, or month. And numbers 8, 9, and 10, meal plan. Stop stop going into the grocery store or even Target. Yes. How many times do you drop hundreds of dollars at Target when you just went in for deodorant? And cooking your own meals. All right, friend. I hope that you are enjoying this summer saving series. Next week, we are going to continue on with budget with a spin. Instead of saving money, I am going to give you a few ways for you to make a little money. And we're not talking doing dances on TikTok, becoming an Instagram influencer, or any of those silly things. Just honest little ways to make a little cash on the side if you have 5 minutes. All right, friends, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.